Hello and welcome to the Sport Geeks episode 8. I'm Andy, this is Dylan, and we hope to have a good show for you today. We will try our best to keep it under 10 minutes long as we have three straight that have went over what we promised, which was less than 10 minutes. So hopefully this stays under 10 minutes. Dylan, please explain what this week's episode is about.
All right. This week's episode, we're going to baseball with the topic of who is the face of the MLB right now. And this topic was suggested by Derek Zimkowiak, so thanks, Derek, for that one. And we encourage you to feel free to comment with your own thoughts on this debate, who won, who you think the face of baseball is, as well as what you'd like to see us debate in the future, as we really would like to just keep doing topics suggested by you guys, the fans and viewers.
Dylan, you couldn't have said it any better. Suggest and comment. The more comments, more likes we get, the more people that'll watch. So I will start off. Remember, this is about who is the face, not who necessarily is the better player. Because what I'm going to do right now is I'm taking Mike Trout. And we all know how good Mike Trout is. I have statistics, and I think the statistics kind of speak to why he should be the face. He should be the face because he is young. It's not like he's old. He's 23 years old. He is one of the best players in baseball, if not the best player in baseball. And that is hard to compete with in this debate, like compete against. But Dylan, I give you all the props in the world for believing in your boy. So I got Mike Trout as face of MLB.
All right, so I'm not going to act like it's easy to argue against Mike Trout for this one. He's been incredible for the past couple of years, but I'm going to have to go with Bryce Harper. He's in the midst of the year we've all been waiting for as baseball fans. He's only 22 years old. He's also young. He was the 2010 first overall pick. He was 2012 NL Rookie of the Year, same year that Mike Trout won the AL Rookie of the Year. And he's putting together the year we've waited for. He's leading the Nationals to a very good year. He's definitely the face of that franchise and finally coming into his own. He's been around baseball for a while. Back in June of 2009, at age 16, he was put on the cover of Sports Illustrated, touted as the most exciting prodigy since LeBron James. And he's starting to come into living up to that hype.
That is extremely difficult to compete against. The next prodigy compared to LeBron James. I have to disagree and say I just read that they think Mike Trout is the next Ted Williams. And if I know a little bit about baseball, Ted Williams may be one of the best players of all time. And I'm pretty sure he's widely considered the best hitter of all time. So to be compared to the best players in your sport in sports has to at least give them the credibility that they deserve to be considered at least the face of baseball. But Mike Trout has been an all-star for 3 years. He's won Rookie of the Year, like you said. He has competed for he's nearly gotten triple crowns. Like at the age of 22 years old, he's almost got a triple crown. Like how you can't compete with that. Miguel Cabrera got one, sure, but the last time it was done was Yastrzemski or whatever. Like, he is so good. And what the crazy part about it is you have a guy that was 85th when he came out of school as a prospect. He was ranked 85th. And you have Bryce Harper, who was number 1 in the year he was drafted. It's just, I feel like that slights Trout a little bit. But Trout's always been a pro, always been an all-star, always put points up. Put points up on the board.
See, with Bryce Harper, he's having a phenomenal year. He's batting .331, and he has 41 runs, 18 home runs, and 43 RBI, which is good enough for first in the MLB, or tied for first in all three of those categories this year in 47 games played. You can compare Mike Trout's career numbers to that of some of the greatest in history, but if you look at like excuse me, if you isolate this year, then project Bryce Harper's numbers, he's on pace for one of the best seasons we've seen in I don't know how long. If you can make the argument whether he'll sustain it, but that's maybe for a different video or some time else. But Bryce Harper hasn't had. You can argue he doesn't have the consistency that Mike Trout has shown, but he hasn't been on the field as consistently as he's had his season's interrupted by injuries ever since even his rookie year. He only played about 140 games, and then he's played less since then, and that's partially a product of his aggressive style of play.
All right, I'm gonna take that injury thing that you just said, that injury risk, and bring it into my argument. I didn't originally bring it in, but when I think about it, how can be the face of baseball be a guy that doesn't play all the time, who doesn't play regularly, who can't be consistent on the field, that you can expect, hey, this guy will be out there all season long. Like you need a guy that's there. Mike Trout has the best wins above replacement in the history of the league. Like he is one of the best players of all time. And I think it's not right to just isolate this year, because when you take this year, you say Harper has one of the best years ever. But Mike Trout is on pace to have one of the best careers ever. And if you're going to have the face of the MLB, the next face of the MLB, it has to be a guy that can sustain a career as one of the best players of all time. And I also believe when you take Mike Trout into this discussion, you have to think he's a Subway, he is an endorser, a sponsor of Subway and of Body Armor sports drink, whatever that is. However, Subway, Body Armor, you've got two name products that he represents. Like everyone knows what Subway is, not necessarily Body Armor, but everybody knows what Subway is. And they see Mike Trout. You know, you're going to see Mike Trout in commercials, just like you saw Bryce Harper on ESPN. And I think that you look at it, Trout is having one of the best careers of all time.
Okay, I get the thing of what we've seen so far. I mean, we have seen Bryce Harper when he was in the minors, or not the minors, when he was in college, hitting nearly 570-foot home runs and all that hype, and he's living up to it. And you can say all this and that about Mike Trout. Oh, he's going to have one of the best careers ever. Bryce Harper's been injured. There's no way of predicting if Bryce Harper will ever go on the DL again, or if Mike Trout will continue his career without going on the DL. Mike Trout may be on pace to have one of the best careers ever, but we've cited Mike Trout's 22, Bryce Harper's 21. They've both probably got like nearly 20 years left on their career and a lot of time to add to their resumes. And I can't say what's going to happen 10 years down the road, and when these guys get even more into the prime years of 25, 26 years old. But I'm sure that these guys will both be leading candidates for MVP in their respective leagues. And regardless of what's already happened, I think this debate's going to be one that's going to continue on and be a tough one to settle for a very long time.
And thank you for watching the Sport Geeks episode 8. We did keep it under 10 minutes long. Hopefully you stayed till the end. Do you agree? Do you think Bryce Harper is the face of baseball now that Derek Jeter has left? Do you think it's Mike Trout? Do you think it's somebody else? I've seen Giancarlo Stanton's name thrown around. I've seen Clayton Kershaw's name thrown around because he was so good and he won the NL MVP. So, who do you think is the face of the league? Suggest future topics below. And thank you for watching. This was Sport Geeks episode 8. Bye.
See y'all next week.